Hey there, home bakers. Stone here from Mountaintop Kitchen. Today, we're diving into the world of New York style cookies, those giant 150-gram beauties made famous by Levain Bakery in New York City. These aren't your average cookies. They're thick, crispy on the outside, soft and gooey on the inside, and packed with melty chocolate and crunchy walnuts. They're surprisingly easy, too, to bake at home and perfect for sharing or just keeping all to yourself. Stick around and I'll show you how to recreate this bakery classic right in your own kitchen. So let's bake these incredible cookies together because big cookies make big smiles. Okay, so let's get started. I have 185 grams of unsalted butter. Let's put that into our mixing bowl. Now this is not exactly room temperature. It is a little bit cold. It's not super cold, but just a little bit chilled. To that, we're going to add 130 grams of sugar, granulated sugar. And let's zero out the scale. Always remember to do that. So 130 grams. And almost there. 125 and 130. And then we're going to add 130 grams, also equal weight, of brown sugar, nice soft brown sugar. So zero out and 130 grams. Almost there. We're going to put this on our mixer and get it nice and mixed up. We don't need the scale, so let's get rid of that. All right, let's bring our mixer over, get the bowl attached. Okay, there we go. And give it a mix for about 4 minutes. We'll be back in 4 minutes. Okay, that's been about 4 minutes, combining our sugars and our butter. Our white granulated sugar adds a nice crunch to the cookie, and the brown sugar gives it a nice, soft, caramelized flavor. Okay, so now we're going to just scrape the bowl down. You always want to scrape down between a new addition. So we might have some butter hanging out in the bottom that's not mixed in with the sugar, but it looks pretty well incorporated. So we got that mixed up well. And now we're just going to turn the mixer back on a low speed and add these eggs one by one until they're well incorporated. There's the first one. You can turn it up a little bit. That's looking really good. Okay. Let's put our second egg in and mix it until it is also incorporated. Okay, our eggs are incorporated. Now we're going to sift together our dry ingredients. I have 160 grams of self-raising flour. So I'm going to put that into my sieve. Now, if you don't have self-raising flour, you can easily make your own. Just take 150 grams of flour and add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Mix that up really well. Okay, and to this, we're just going to add 240 grams of all-purpose flour. So zero out the scale, and let's get 240 grams. And we're about at 100, 150, 185, 200, just need 40 more. There we go. Okay. I like to use a scale to be more accurate rather than using cups, but in the description below, if you're looking on YouTube, watching on YouTube, you can see all the measurements in both metrics and imperial. Okay, there we have our 240. So I'm just going to sift this all together into a big bowl until we have everything in there. Okay, and then just give it a little shuffle to make sure it's all mixed in well. All right. In addition, we need to add some baking powder. So we have 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Let's add that in real quick. 1.5. Here we go. And just a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Now, if you're working at higher altitudes, as I am, I'm giving you guidance in the notes about how to make adjustments. I basically use King Arthur Baking Company's guidelines, and they've always worked well for me. All right, so let's just give that another good shuffle to get everything mixed in really well. All right, now it's time to add this to our butter and sugars. So now that we have our butter and our sugars together, we're going to go ahead and mix in the dry ingredients that we just sifted. So we're going to do this in 2 stages, put in about half at a time. Just so it doesn't fly out all over the place. That would not be fun cleaning up. Okay, so let's do this on slow. Just until it's combined. We don't want to overmix this stage. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and scrape, get some of that flour that's hanging around in the edges of the bowl, get it incorporated in there, and then add in the rest of our flour. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Again, on slow, low speed, and just until you see barely a little bit of flour. We still have to do some mixing by hand with our walnuts and our chocolate, and that looks good to me. So I'm going to stop it right there. You can see it's mostly mixed in. We have a nice batter going. So we'll be right back in a minute with our walnuts and our chocolate. We almost have our dough ready. We're going to roughly chop up 80 grams of walnuts. Now you can roast these if you want to. We're not going to do that today. We're just going to chop them up roughly, 80 grams, and get that into our batter. These New York style cookies are so chunky and so delicious. You are going to love this recipe. The New York style cookie was really, as far as I know, initiated by Levain Bakery, which I've been to. And if you check out my Substack post, you'll see some pictures of me there buying all their merch, cookies, and everything else. Okay, so this is roughly chopped up. And I'm just going to add this to the batter. And then we're going to add in 320 grams of semi-sweet dark chocolate chips. So let's turn on our scale, zero it out as usual, and get 320 grams in there. We're at 100, getting closer, 200. 323, so let's take a few out. There we go. All right, we can get rid of the scale again and just mix this by hand. And you'll also be able to get some of the little extra bits of flour mixed in that maybe is still hanging out in the dough. Because remember, we don't want to overmix. That's not a good thing. So just keep mixing. Gonna have to use a little muscle here because it's a pretty stiff dough. And to have everything incorporated. This dough is looking and smelling so good. Next thing is we're going to form these into some balls and get them baked. Okay, our dough is mixed and now we're going to portion it out into 8 to 10 balls of 150 grams each. So let's just pull these are big cookies now. So that's 145, 150. You don't want to compact these too much, and you want these to be kind of irregular looking. They're artisan cookies. So there we go. Look at that ball. Look how big it is. This is a New York style cookie. I'm telling you, these are big cookies for big appetites. But they are so good. Nice and crunchy on the outside, golden and nice and soft and chewy on the inside. These will spread out a little bit, not a whole lot. They do stay pretty chunky and big, but they do spread out. So maybe on this little sheet, maybe about 4. Again, just form a nice ball. Don't compact too much. You're not looking for perfection here. Artisan cookies are artisan looking. They're not factory looking. Okay, that's too much. Oh, exactly 150. I've got all of my dough balls made now, and we're going to bake these, but before we do, we're going to chill them for about 2 to 3 hours in the refrigerator or overnight. We're just going to do it for 2 to 3 hours. So let's go put these in the fridge, get them out, and get them baked. We're going to bake these for about 16 to 18 minutes, but keep an eye on them. You don't want them to burn. You want them to be nice and golden brown, and that's it. Be right back. And we're back. Oh my gosh, look at these cookies. They are so big. New York style cookies made famous by Levain Bakery in New York. I've actually been there. It's a great place. I've tried all their cookies. I've bought all their merch. And these cookies are huge. Today we were following the Bake with Brooki book. So also take a look at her site, Brooke Bellamy. These are massive cookies. These are so good. These are still warm. They were baked. We baked these for about 17 minutes, I believe. And they just turned out so delicious looking. Please think about subscribing to our newsletter and also to our YouTube channel. And we'll be back next week with another great recipe. These look absolutely awesome. Look how big they are. They look so delicious. New York style chocolate chip walnut cookies. Inspired by Levain Bakery in New York City. Today's recipe is by the Bake with Brooki book. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to dig into one of these right now. So let's do it. Oh my God. All right. These are so good. I'm just gonna keep eating. I'll be right back with you in a couple hours.